And welcome back to Attorneys on Call. Once again, at any time during the program, you can call the 800 number on your screen, and an attorney from the Whitley Law Firm will be calling you back. Or you can go to the website, which is whitleylawfirm.com, and you can send the attorneys an email question. You can also look at videos right there on the website. If you might need an attorney, you'll be able to find out by going to the website. There's a lot of great free information right there. It's all free. There's no expense. Go to the website or make a call, and that initial conversation with one of the attorneys at Whitley Law Firm is always free. Now, we mentioned earlier that we had a special guest coming in studio, and we are very pleased to have Sheila in studio with us today, along with Bob Whitley, of course. Sheila, thanks so much for being here today.
You're welcome.
Sheila, we were talking behind the stage a little while ago, and you were telling me a little bit about your story. So tell us how you became injured, and kind of give us let's go back to the beginning and what happened when you were seriously injured in your automobile accident.
Well, I was leaving my house around 4:20 in the afternoon on February the 16th, taking food to a relative that couldn't drive, 5 minutes from my house down the Highway 54.
Okay.
And a driver came out from the other side, and I saw him coming at me. I slowed down, pulled up as far to the side as I could, but he still hit me head on.
Head on?
Head on.
And so right then and there, you're probably thinking, what in the world happened to me? Were you scared? Were you just frightened?
I was terrified. When I saw the car pull out, I was thinking, where is he going? There was no place for him to turn. So I automatically slowed down and pulled to the side, but he still came and got me. And he hit me so hard, it just felt like every organ in my body jumped loose. It scared me to death.
I bet it would be scary. Did you think at that point, gosh, am I going to make it, or what's going to happen to me?
I think my whole life flashed before me at that point. I just was unsure of what was going to happen to me. I remember sitting there, and I remember the dashboard being down on my legs, and I could see the car that was right there, but I couldn't believe it. I still just couldn't believe it, that he had hit me. So at that point, people were coming to the side trying to calm me down, which I wasn't really upset. I was just in disbelief.
You might have been in shock?
Yeah, shock probably.
Shock probably, right.
Yeah, it was just horrible. Well, a relative saw me, and he wanted to get me out of the car. But the man that was sitting there next to me trying to calm me down was saying, don't move her because we don't know what's broken.
Okay.
But
so he was a first responder, I'm assuming.
I think he was just a passerby.
A passerby.
I could hear the ambulance, and I could hear the fire trucks coming. I could hear them coming, but they wasn't there yet. So the car caught on fire, and the relative just stopped.
The car caught on fire?
Yes, sir. The car caught on fire. And he came and he tried to get me out of the car. That's when I realized that both my legs were broken. I had to pull him up over the gear shift for him to lift me up out of the car. And the man that was sitting there trying to calm me down, he was telling him to put me on the ground. He was like, no, and I don't know whose car he put me in, but he laid me in the back seat of somebody's car until the rescue squad came and got me.
Man, what a horrible event. And
Yes.
here you are, you're delivering food to a loved one who can't drive. You're doing a good deed, and all of a sudden you get in a head-on crash.
Yes, yes.
So at that point, you're probably thanking your lucky stars you're still alive, I would guess.
I'm thanking God every minute for letting me live, because I never should have made it out if you looked at the car. But I was hurt pretty bad.
The car was just smashed.
It was smashed in the front.
Okay. And you said that the dashboard kind of went down on, broke both of your legs.
The dashboard came down and broke both my legs, broke both my feet, crushed my right ankle, 8 broken ribs, collapsed lung.
8 broken ribs.
Yes, sir.
Collapsed lung.
Hematoma of my eye and on my heel. I was in bad shape.
You were in rough shape.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you even remember going to the hospital or what that was like? Or?
I never passed out. I was alert the whole time.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd never been sick before in my life, so it was really hard for me. So when I got to the hospital, I kept asking what was broken. Nobody would say until, of course, after the x-rays was done, and then they brought me back and my family came in. And then when they put me in the rooms, that's when the doctor really told me what was going on with me.
And I would think that the fear that you must be thinking, I mean, my gosh, that would be just horrible.
I was petrified. I didn't know. I've never been sick before in my life, and I'm an older woman, so it was hard to even think about that and the recovery process.
So Ben Whitley said that he had a conversation with you in the hospital.
He did.
So tell me, one of your family members contacted the Whitley Law Firm, right? Tell me how that came about.
My son and his fiance, she's a big review person, so she read the reviews and she said that Whitley was the way to go.
So they knew you needed an attorney.
My
right?
mind couldn't even think that far.
Okay, sure.
So
Right.
they knew, and they contacted, and Ben came, and I just remember him being so kind. And it was all about me from the beginning.
Do you remember, was the insurance company from the other driver, were they trying to contact you, or how did I'm sure Ben talked to you about that?
They did, but they awarded everybody off for me. I didn't have to worry about anything. The insurance company, the hospital bills, nothing. They took control of it.
Okay.
So the only thing I could focus on was my recovery, and I needed to because, like I said, I was broken.
You said your son and his wife
Fiancé.
are big on his fiance are big on reviews. So they had read reviews online about the Whitley Law Firm.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, the only thing I remember her saying, because I didn't go online and read anything, was that I've read the reviews and they do good work, and every time I pick up something that's all about Whitley, she said that's the way to go. At least let him come and talk to you, and then you can see.
Okay.
And I'm so glad I chose them.
So your time in the hospital, you were there, how long were you in the hospital?
2 months.
2 months in the hospital.
Well, six to 8 weeks, yeah, 2 months.
That was very difficult, I'm sure.
In the bed, 2 months, because my
Right.
legs was broken.
You
so
couldn't
I
even
was
get up. Yeah.
I couldn't do nothing. Nothing.
What was that like for you? Because you're an active woman. You said you'd never been sick a day in your life. I mean, that must have been brutal.
It was draining, and gave me a lot of time to think. You know, I was, in my mind, I was thinking I couldn't even walk again. And it was still unsure until the end because, you know, my bones had to heal, and plus I'm an older woman, so it takes a little longer, but thank God I was in pretty good health.
Well, I can tell you have strong character, and I'll bet you that the doctors were telling you one thing and you were probably thinking another.
Oh yeah, when it came time, when it came time to the end,
Yeah.
my doctor told me he was sending me back to work for his mental health because I was worrying him to death.
Is that right? That's great. Bob, you have always talked about you love what you do because of the relationships that you form with clients like Sheila. Tell me about that a little
Well, it's people like Sheila, you know, just you picked up a little bit. She was determined to go back to work from day one. I remember she told me about driving her car, and the doctor had told her not to drive her car because she was driving it with one leg. And I told her I would not go riding with her.
Okay.
But I remember the first time I met her, it was after that long hospitalization, and she was at home.
Okay.
But she was still crippled. She really couldn't
Yeah.
she couldn't get around anywhere. And we sat there and we talked about it. And I think that was really, I talked to her on the phone before then, but I hadn't met her. And as soon as I met her and I picked up on her, now one thing I do have to object to, she keeps talking about being an older woman, but she's about 10 years younger than I am, so I don't like hearing that. I don't consider myself an older man. But anyway, I just was impressed by her determination
Right.
to get better, and she really has. I mean, it's a miracle. You want to praise the Lord when you see somebody, because not everybody does. And she is at an age, it's much more difficult to recover
Yes.
at an older age than it is when you're a young person. So it was wonderful.
Sheila, how was that to have the Whitley Law Firm really supporting you and taking all those things off your plate so you could just focus on getting healthy again? How important was that for your recovery?
It was very important because, you know, I was going through all kind of feelings and emotions
I bet
after
you
the
were.
accident, and
Yeah.
just not to have to worry about the bills coming and them taking care of that. That took a lot lot of stress off of me. And even before I could get home from the doctor's visit, they were calling to see how I was doing.
Right.
So it really made the process so much easier.
Bob, you've talked many times on the program about these types of cases when people are seriously injured, and what the insurance company for the responsible party sometimes will try to do in terms of limiting what they have to pay, if anything, and how contributory negligence in the state sometimes plays a factor in that.
And in this particular case, they didn't use contributory negligence as a defense, but they did use what is called a sudden incapacitation, medical emergency, as a defense.
Okay.
And perhaps maybe when we come back from the break, I can talk to you a little bit about that.
Absolutely. And can you stay put and,
Sure.
and stay with us for the next segment as well?
Sure.
All right. Thank you so much for watching Attorneys on Call. Back with more in just a moment.